Hi, welcome to Classic Car Cove. So this is part 3 and I've put a little video up from Coventry Auto Parts, or Coventry Components I think they're called, and they're quite a specialist in Jaguars along with SNG and quite a few others, and they've actually, in the little bit of footage you're going to see, obviously I took it off the computer screen so I'm sorry about the quality, but they talk about how these OTSs were extremely difficult to fit, and they were kind of bespoke. So it kind of backs up what I was saying earlier, or what I've discussed with other people. It seems that is pretty much the situation. So if you ever look at that, and it was nice to hear, it was good to find it, and nice to hear that, yeah, I'm not imagining this, it's real. Just to give you a quick brief history on this car. This is the 191st OTS that they made, or Roadster OTS, open two-seater. The actual number on it is actually, I'll tell you now, is actually 830292. So you're thinking, well, how can it be? It's 292nd, but apparently the first car they made, the prototype, never went on the road, so there was only 190. This was the 191st made, and we were talking about, now I've got these figures from Wikipedia, and they're notoriously bad for not being right. But anyway, this is from Wikipedia. They're saying the 150s, the total 150s they made were 9,382. The OTS, or the two-seater, or the Roadster car, there was 2,265 total made. The fixed head was the most, 4,445, and the drop head coupe, this is the same, convertible, but a much better roof. This is the roof on the drop head coupe is substantial in comparison to this, but I don't like the way it sits on the tonneau at the back. That was 2,672 drop head coupes. Now they did actually start, they were working on this car quite early on, the 150, but there was a fire at Browns Lane, and I believe it was, so this car was built in March 17th of April, and they started the OTS, started building them in March 1958, so basically within a month this one was already off the production line. And they were going to start it earlier, but there had been a fire at the factory at Browns Lane, and what surprised me, I think it was in May 1957, I believe. No, sorry, the cars were starting to be produced in May, but only 4 months earlier they had this fire that had destroyed half the factory, if not quite a bit more of it, and that's where all the XKSSs were lost, these ones that you might have heard about in the last 3 or 4 years that were all sold off, the last, whatever it was, 8 or 6 or whatever it was, they were all destroyed in that fire at Jaguar. Anyway, just a little bit brief history, to bring you up to date. So I'm going to say I'm going to make this part 3, and part 4 we'll do tomorrow if I get success on this side, which is the worst. The hockey stick on this side is the worst of the two. So you'll see that, and hopefully see if I can get it sorted, or what problems I have with it. So I hope you enjoy the video. So this is a little clip from Coventry Auto Components in the UK, and if you listen into what they're saying, it kind of bears out what I was trying to put over in my last video.
If you own an XK150, a fixed head and drop head, we do make the chrome side pillars, very hard to even keep on the shelf. We make these in hundreds. If you have the Roadster, an even rarer vehicle, we do keep these as well. We've had them specially commissioned. These we make in lower quantities, about 25 sets at a time. But we do supply them in brass because they are an unusual thing to fit to an unusual car, and the Roadsters do vary considerably. So we make this side sections, we make the top sections, and we supply the bottoms as well, so you can fit them up, tailor make them to your car, and then chrome them, so you do get the perfect fit, because Roadsters are known for being quite flexible around the window surrounds, and they can just vary quite a lot.
So as you can see, I started off by making a cardboard template, of what it should look like. That's how it started off. This is exactly this. So almost not perfect, but it's certainly as good as I can get it. And this is how long it is. Now if you look, so this is the cardboard one. I then made it an aluminium one. I did take the corner off it because it was making the angle too difficult. But if you put these two together now, you can see how much. Doesn't matter about the overlap because it's the same on the chrome strip. But you can see that's pretty good. But you can see just how much, sorry, from that edge you can just see how much, oh, there we go, how much has got to come off just before the edge here, before the corner. That's quite a chunk that needs to come out of that. So I'm kind of committed to have a go and see. Maybe I'll cut it and then file it. Not file it, yeah, draw file it maybe. But you can see it's a mat. That fits really nice now, that one. But as I say, if I put it against the original, you can see how much difference there is. So it's hard to do this with holding it as well. But to try... There we go. You see there's quite a lot. Quite a lot has to come off to make that right. So I'm thinking, what I'll do, take a cut, take a chance. Yeah. Yeah. Decisions. Anyway, yeah. I mean, that really is a good fit, that aluminium. Okay, it's a bit more pliable than that is, but I'm just thinking that might be the way to go. I'd still have to get them re-chromed, whichever way I go with it. But anyway, there we go. Decision time. So you can see I've made this aluminium piece. It doesn't go all the way up, but it shows now how it's nice in line with that chrome there. It's not even pushed in, and nice on the edge there. So if I make that as the template, but bending it isn't an option, I don't think. Even the aluminium kinks really badly, and even with hammer forming it, it's still, I think some amount has to be cut, I'm afraid. But I'll show you how. This is the aluminium one, of course, as you can see. I've worked on that for some time, and I'll put the original one back on. So this one's obviously not screwed in or anything, it's got to go up further. But you can see there's a marked difference there. If I hold this one up against it, you can see even under the lip, it's a massive amount. It's a massive amount that needs to come off. So it's down there. And that's under the lip there as well. So yeah, I think use this as a template. I don't think I've got much choice but to cut it. Well, I took the plunge and I decided to go for it. So either I have to put brass on it or whatever, but I decided to go for it. I got a little bit jittery at the end there, so I can file that down. But we'll see how it looks. And there's the piece I've cut off. I know it doesn't look much. There's the piece of brass. When this comes to worst. Oh, yeah, in for a penny, in for a pound. I'll clean it up and see how it looks. Hopefully it went pretty well, so fingers crossed it will be okay. Okay, so this is not fully fixed in, but this is it cut. I don't know if it's going to show up, but you can see it's still in line there. It needs Sikaflex in there to push that down, but I think you can see it there. I've had a tiny little crease in it there, but it's hardly noticeable. Well, I can see it, but considering I've cut that, I'm quite happy with it. You can see where I just need to push that in, and that will be Sikaflexed in place anyway. And I think the gap there is very acceptable. Oh, that's one. Not finished, but it's it's pretty much there compared to the way it was sticking right down here. I think that's 100% on what it was. Don't know what you guys think. Definitely a huge improvement. And strangely, it hasn't damaged the chrome, but the brass cut quite easily. I was pretty nervous doing it. So just to give you a bit of a comparison, I'm not going to be able to hold this very straight, but you can see that was the piece without. That's the piece I've cut out from it. It's not even in line. But it's hard to hold it up. You can see how much more that's out. I can't even hold it properly. There's the shaker. There we go. That's the edge that I cut off, the brass edge. It's quite a bit. But I think that's far superior to the way it was. It still needs a little roll on this edge, but I might get the chroma to do that, put that little edge in it. Give them the exact sizes I need. Just make a little rolled edge on that so it fits nicer up against that chrome.